How many of you have lost sleep over a picnic? Raise your hand. As a child. Not over exams, not over your first crush, but something as simple as a picnic. Thank you for those who raise hands. I'm feeling less alone. As I grew up in my childhood, I was one person who ran event management companies at 2 a.m. at night, especially when there was picnic. Because I had inherited anxiety. Anxiety in my DNA. I had thoughts like, what if it rains? What if the bus doesn't come? What if I forget something important? And these thoughts would make my night sleepless. As I grew up, especially when I had these sleepless thoughts, my sister used to laugh at me. And I used to believe that there was something wrong with me. But as I stand here today in front of you, I want to confess there was nothing wrong with me. In fact, something was working perfectly fine. So, where do we come from? Some of us believe that we come from apes. Yes, we evolved physically from apes, but we also evolved mentally. But we evolved mentally from a code, survival code, a deeply embedded operating system that is running silently in all human minds. There is a dedicated prefrontal cortex in our brain, which is our human brain's prediction engine. And this engine is always predicting what could go wrong. We all know Charles Darwin said that only the fittest will survive. And who were these fit people? They were not the ones who had calm minds. They were the ones who actually questioned. If there was a movement in the bush, the brain said, something's wrong. Run. And we kept on evolving because our prefrontal cortex, our human brain's prediction engine, kept on telling us what to do next. Picture this. Our human brain is somewhat like Netflix. But instead of streaming romance or comedy, it is usually streaming all thrillers. What could go wrong? It is predicting something which is protecting us. It is not the positive thoughts which our brain embraces. Every single day, our human brain actually processes multi-million thoughts. Actually, at least multi-thousand thoughts. And then these multi-thousand thoughts, if you scan them, it is more protective than positive. Though my blood group is B positive, but somewhere that positivity was missing in me when I could foresee more things going wrong. And that's where, when I started doing research. I have written a book, The Coping Code, and in that coping code, I started experimenting and writing about people who have survived stress. It is based on Holmes and Ray stress scale. This stress scale actually gives scores to life events such as death of a loved one, divorce, job losses. And if you see, these events are having high scores as well as high impact. But it is not about the scores. I realized that it was how much time your brain is stuck in that particular grief which actually matters. I'll give you two scenarios from my personal life which happened almost at the same time. We had one auntie and she had a cat. She lost her cat one day. A car actually went over the cat. Auntie was in deep grief. And what I mean by deep grief, she didn't come out of her house for almost 4 or 5 months. When visitors visited her house, it was more like a condolence meeting. I must say that I started believing that this cat had a very good social network than most humans. But at that same time, my close friend, she lost her husband, a life shattering loss. But in couple of months, she decided to rebuild her life. She got married again. Two events, two minds, two completely different outcomes. So, what was the difference? The difference was not the event or the intensity. The difference was how long your mind is stuck in the grief. If it stays there for a longer time, it becomes a trap. While a human also predicts future, it sometimes replays the past. And if you get stuck in the past, in the rumination loop, what happens? You will get trapped. This is what happens where people commit suicide because they are stuck in that grief for a longer time than required. Picture this. If you are able to come out of that particular loop in a shorter time, you build a system by which, and this is what I mentioned in the book, how to come out of those loops. If you come out of that loop, you will get your strength back. You will be able to overcome your grief and proceed further. I believed I had this flaw of super anxiety, and I must confess, I thought it was a manufacturing defect because my mom was exact replica of mine, or you may say that I am an exact replica of my mother. She used to worry so much, and she used to always think about so many things which could go wrong. Any event, and she would have sleepless nights, picturing what all things which could go wrong. And then I saw something in her. She had backup plans, always one plan B, which saved her. And growing up, I also started building up my plan B, C, even plan ZX, so that I never fail. I recently completed my 10th official degree. And people used to say that Kamaljeet studies hard because she wants to come first. And yes, I am the gold medalist for that particular recent degree, Masters in Law, which I bagged. Let me tell you, I don't study hard because I want to come first. I study hard because I don't want to fail. I'm very scared of failure. I feel that people will laugh at me if I fail. And in my pursuit of not failing, I used to study so hard that I used to end up coming first. Okay, when I look at my journey and recently, because now I work as a risk management expert, in one major acquisition which I handled, everything looked perfect. Reputed auditors, clean reports, certified numbers. But my mind was whispering, Kamaljeet, look again. Something is wrong. And yes, I started going deeper into those papers and I found it. I found inflated valuation, fictitious assets, hidden reality. The deal was renegotiated in multi crores and losses were prevented. I got a good bonus as well for saving our organization from a wrong deed. And as I progressed, I found that what we call as overthinking can actually become precision thinking if used wisely. And on the basis of how to handle anxiety, I actually created a code CODE, a code which actually can save all of you who are into the same business as me of overthinking. Let us look at what this code is all about. C, cut the loop. As I mentioned, when you are in that overthinking mode, unless and until you cut the loop, you will not get back to your senses. So C stands for cutting the loop of overthinking. If it is not working for you, stop thinking. O, on to paper. So many times our brain is actually running those movies, imaginary scenario in our brain. Instead of going into the world of imagination, how about writing it down onto paper? When you write it down, you get clarity and your thoughts actually come on those paper. I call it journaling and I definitely end up writing a lot of things which actually can be converted into books. Next is D. D stands for deciding a limit. Overthinking can actually run endlessly. It doesn't have boundaries. How about giving it a boundary? So, what you do is decide a limit, say 3 minutes, 10 minutes, think of what all you can, stop. E, engage in reality. What I meant by engaging in reality is instead of living in the merciful world of imagination, how about getting yourself to action? If you are thinking that you want to do your next course, take admission, prepare for the entrance rather than just thinking that I want to do it. Taking admission at the right time, preparing for the entrance is also very important. So, unless you plan it, put yourself into action, you will just be living in your own world. So, E stands for engaging in reality. So, I developed this code, and always when somebody approaches me for overthinking or anxiety syndrome, I give them this code. So, let us repeat or recapitulate what this code is all about. C, cut the loop. O, onto paper. D, decide a limit. E, engage in reality. Next time, when your brain gets into a overthinking mode, don't stop it. Just run this code and you will be out of anxiety. You will out of overthinking. Thank you.